Man, that's making noise. Oh, for fuck's sake, man. Yeah, man. My bad for the noise in the background, bro. But we're gonna move on, innit? We're gonna move on with the stream. So let me just get my stuff set up, man. So you guys know, you guys know that I always start my routine on the daily time frame, and I identify the top and bottom of the daily range, the previous day candle. The rule is to pay attention to the previous candle and identify the top and bottom of it. So when you move down to a lower time frame, you implement the rules of structure, which is closures against the previous candle initiate pullbacks. Closures against the previous candle initiates pullbacks. And in the event that we get a closure, it creates a range for us to move back into. On top of that, it validates the low. In this case, we don't see that. We just saw a wick above here. We want to see a closure. Until then, this low is not valid and is vulnerable, stays vulnerable to, get taken out. Let's move down to a lower time frame. And when we move down to lower time frames, we bring our habits onto it as well. And the main one that allows you to get into an entry is tracking the creation of a pullback and tracking the liquidations of them. Tracking the liquidations of each pullback. I'm reading the pullbacks on lower time frames, as well as, well, we already did this on a higher time frame, but on lower time frames, you can see that we're liquidating pullbacks. This is how I time my entries, and if you want to maintain consistency, then I recommend that you do. So, 2. Now, that's a higher time frame. That's how I know where I am on a higher time frame. Keep your drawings on your chart, cause if you don't, you'll end up making some analysis that doesn't even exist on the lower time frame. So on the lower time frame, I really do the same thing. I use the 15-minute as my bias. And I repeat the same process. So this is the previous 15-minute candle, and I identify the top and bottom of it. This will be the top and bottom of, scalping range, right? Lower time frame range. So we move down to the lower time frame. So what do we see? Trend. I see a valid high, a valid low, So right now, we've already moved back into this range. But because we know it's from a higher time frame, we just got a single candle mitigation on the lower time frame. So we know that the possibility of the market accumulating back into this higher time frame range is there. But hey, it's just a probability though. If you back test it, then you'd see where I'm coming from. So that's about it though. That's what the 5 minute is telling us. So we move down to lower time frames. What do we see? I see that this is our valid high, responsible for, jeez, this trend down. We see one, two, three, the liquidation of the fourth. Now we know that the protected high on a 15-second, right, on the lower time frame is vulnerable. It's because we know after three, four liquidations of pullbacks, the market is likely to reverse. But understand that reversal is made to be liquidated. If you're looking for the market conditions to shift from a trend to a range, then that is what you're looking for. If I were to just erase this and look at things from a higher time frame, how do we know we are in a trend? So how I classify trends is seeing a closure out of a range. This is a reversal since we took out a valid low. So when we know reversals take place, I'm automatically like, okay, cool, let me see the liquidation of it. But I still have to also understand what's going on right now. This is like me, if I'm looking for an entry, I have to manage my expectations above this high. That's what I'm trying to say. But if I'm still just trying to figure out what's going on right now in the market, we're still conducting a top-down analysis here. So to know that we're trending, you want to see a closure against a valid high or low. In this case, it was a valid low. And we see that when we track the previous candle all the way down, we don't see no closures against it. We don't see no closures against the previous candle yet. What do we know occurs when we do close above or against the previous candle? We know that it creates a pullback, and from there we start to track the liquidations of the pullback it creates. This is just one way of things of happening, but we also know that in a trend environment we also get this too, just the liquidation of it too. It's about understanding, when can I engage in that move there? When is the best? How can I get involved in this move? And then that's what I teach, my friends anyway. So that's what I do. So there's a particular pattern in the market in which you can actually be part of the new trend, the initiation of that new trend. But it requires you to be patient for it, because you don't need to engage in every single move here, bro. Some people think that just because we swept something is the reason for price to. Yes, I get it. We can see this movement back into the range all the time, but just the sweep of something is not enough to say that we want to engage and place our capital in that move. Like for sure, like you will see that move happen all the time, but is it each time that you want to put your capital on it? It's not. Now you have to find that move in the market that you can build a reliable income on. That's the next step. And that comes with back testing, bro. That's US 30 though, so I'll just repeat the process. Um, yesterday's markings. So I'm looking on the daily time frame, tracking that top and bottom of that daily range. Move on to the lower time frame. I'm applying structure, right? We see a pullback, we see the liquidation of the first, liquidation of the second. See a pullback right here, and we just saw one, and what we saw the liquidation of a pullback right here, creating a previous range for us to move back into. And we know that this was just one, two, three. We saw the liquidation of the third pullback. Market is likely to reverse, right? And we know that the first reversal is made to be liquidated right there. Checking things out on the 1 hour. Just want to get rid of those drawings there. Yeah, we got a valid low. So understanding the valid highs and lows, I call this a valid low because it was responsible for putting in a new high. It allows you to see where that higher time frame trend, the direction of the higher time frame is, and you know that your invalidation of any longs is below here. But yeah, higher time frame shit too, right? But that's just how you apply the rules and how I apply when it comes to looking for a higher time frame setup. Okay, cool. So let's just keep this. I shouldn't have deleted it from my chart. The initiation, pullback, pullback, pullback. So we see the liquidation of one, two, three, and that's how we manage our expectation. I said that when we close out of a range, we've entered a trending environment. I'm not looking to trade in a trending environment. And I need to see a ranging environment. And the only way, well, the conditions of a ranging environment, the actual process of how the market gets into a ranging environment is seeing the reversal take place and seeing the liquidation of that reversal. And now, if the market is going to range, then we will usually see a super obvious impulsive move. And it's your job to apply this kind of market pattern after that narrative. But let's say the market don't even do that though, and that this is real. How do we respond to price? It could continue to make lower prices, and you're like, oh shit, maybe I could have gotten in that move. When you're first learning, so obviously this is the daily, right? Let me make that a different color. I'll make it green. So the whole point of you understanding where you are like this is so that you're saying to yourself, I'm only willing to sell at the top, and I'm only willing to buy at the bottom. So I'll show you how I approach the market on the 15 minute, which I like to consider like a scalp environment. So when we apply what we know, we see a closure out here and no closure against the previous down candle yet. Okay, cool. We've had it here. So that would be considered a reversal, but then it gets liquidated. Oh, my bad. Not a reversal. Not a reversal. A pullback, sorry. A reversal will be this high on the 1 minute. So now that we see the pullback created, we want to see how many? How many did I say? So we got that. Let me use a different color. So we see the first pullback there, the that went over there, there. So I'm seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. What you will notice as well that with these pullbacks, it starts with lower volatility. Sometimes it can look as clean as like when I say clean, I'm talking about they're all on the lower time frame, but just the size of the move may differ. But in general, when it's pullbacks, it's all sitting on this one leg. But the only reason I can count pullbacks like this is because I know what it looks like on a 15-second or on lower time frame. So it's like for you it may be difficult, but just don't overthink it. Just don't overthink it, bro. Yeah, man's back, bro. Man's back, bro. Just sharing the knowledge. Um, so look, we're approaching that 15-minute high, right? Top of the range. You want to position yourself at the top if you want to sell. If you're thinking about buying, you're positioning yourself at the bottom. So how are you responding to price based on where it is now? You do nothing. Do nothing. One of the maddest mistakes people make when they're navigating volatility like this is that they think they need to actually do something just because the market is doing something, which is entirely false. You don't need to be engaging in everything. You need to be engaging in spots where you know you'll be provided for. So let me go on gold. I'll just reset. In fact, let me check NASDAQ first. Let me see what we're doing. I'm waiting for this. Let me check the 15. Oh, would you look at that? Yeah, well, yeah. So if I'm gonna sell, which I'm not even gonna sell, it has to be above this anyway. again, it's all about managing expectations, bro. Because usually that manipulation, oof, look at me. Look at me. I'm giving you guys the sauce right now. But that manipulation happens after something is taken, bro. Something. What's that something? You're just seeing what? One, two, from where? Fuck that. That's three. Stepped in there again. And there's something over here, but manage expectations is what I'm trying to say. Like, some people will look at, make this a different color. In fact, let me just do this. Some people will look at this, right? Call it red. And if they're drawing fibs, it will look something like this, right? And they're like, okay, cool. Let me just try and get a continuation, which is just like, you know, aim for that 1-to-1 or aim for this low. But there's better ways of handling risk, you know? There's better ways of handling risk. There's better ways of engaging in impulsive moves. I'll tell you this for a fact. You're going to see more consolidation inside of a range than you are going to see it outside. So what I'm telling you is just be a bit more patient. Just be a bit more patient than what you cut. Then rather than executing on what you currently see, just have the patience just to yeah cool. I already got it. Let me highlight it though. Trust me, the move is coming, bro. Even I'm finna pay attention to that. But ultimately, alright, boom. This is yeah. I was gonna check out gold, and so it's either this is how I prepare myself for higher or lower prices without all this stuff in my chart. Actually, let's use that there. Alright, boom. So let's go on gold and repeat the process. I just want to know where I am. I'm just applying structure. We are in a new trend. So what I'm seeing is initiation, pullback, pullback, got that little lower time frame reversal, then we came right back again. So we see the initiation, but we see the first pullback take place. So we know that we're in a new thing. And where could we possibly go? Well, let me not even zoom out like this. Let me just use the 4 hour. Well, I see that. I see that. I see that. Just manage your expectations. If you're willing to get into an entry just below a valid low, now it doesn't matter if the market, because we're inside of this range here, and I make it a point for myself. Fuck a point. I make it a rule, bro. I don't really be engaging inside. I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not engaging. I'm not continuing I'm always looking to move back into something. And if you just manage your expectations that way, you will be able to actually gain more consistency because you're engaging in a move that's more consistent than continuations, which is what? Pullbacks. And pullbacks, the way that pullbacks are delivered are way more impulsive and just straight to your target rather than continuations. Continuations, you're relying on an accumulation process of just happening before. But nah, I prefer not to. But that's as for what's going on right now. But I tell you to manage expectations here, but the active skill that you need is counting your pullbacks like I have right here on the current trend. Tracking them pullbacks, tracking the liquidations of the pullbacks. That's the narrative that's gonna keep you consistent. That's gonna keep you consistent. And everything I'm saying here is what is for consistency, bro. It's for consistency. Consistency is all we give a fuck about, right? But it's about being consistent in the right things, bro. Because we can also be consistent in the wrong things, which we're literally compounding on shit habits, but we don't want to be doing that. So that's why I'm here to give you correct things to do. Correct. Let me remove this shit though. This is top and bottom. Alright, cool. So if there's any area I'm looking at, it's just lower prices. I just want lower prices. I'm not looking to engage anywhere up here on the 15, on the 1 hour. But if we're on the 15-minute now and I was looking to scout, what is the narrative? When I'm talking about the narrative, I'm talking about the current trend, my boy. What's happening? So I know we're in a high time frame pullback into this range up here. Shit, that's all I know for now. I know it started here. We're seeing one. Is that a reversal? Okay, cool. So you initiate another pullback. We see one, boom, two, three. So the liquidation right there. We know we can do that. So I'm at least looking for that. But just because my expectations are set in this direction doesn't mean the market can do that as well. So what will I do if I see the market make lower prices? I'll just wait for the liquidation of the pullback. Why? Because I said, it's not because of what I said, it's because the market creates a valid high when we close against a pullback. And I know that valid high also creates a previous range for us to move back into. And I know that's the move I engage in the event that we close against the pullback. Now, I also know that, when we close against the pullback, we are trending. So I need to also wait for, probably see that. Or we probably won't get that. And we see that instead. How are we, how are we responding to price? Because this right here is just this right here. It's the same thing. Wait for the liquidation of the pullback. And maybe we could get a failure to close. And now I'm saying a bit too much, but I'm trying to bring you guys to speed. But yeah, is that the 15 minute? Ah, okay, cool. So on the 5 minute though, I acknowledge the previous range where we're coming out from. So I can understand why some people would be looking at this zone, but like I keep saying, bro, you want to be just take something first before you even consider zones, bro. So I understand if you were to, I'd put risk here too. Like, I'm putting my money there too. Why? Because we just to move back into, but it all depends on the narrative as the market is coming down, which is why I say steady, track your pullbacks, bro. This is just guesswork. All this zone things here is guesswork. We don't, we don't, we don't, we don't rely on guesswork. We don't depend on that in order to withdraw profit on the day. We depend on structure. You get structure first, then, and when I mean structure, yeah, forget this. I'm talking at least manage your expectations for a valid high or low to be taken out first. Why? Because that is when you can actually, what's the word? Anticipate. I gotta mute my mic, but anticipate and move back into the previous range. That's what I'm trying to say. Alright. But yeah, man, if you guys got any questions, shit, I haven't even been looking at the YouTube chat though. What's going on? Alright, boom. So, I forgot where I was. I know why I am in the range, but yeah, we're currently making higher prices, so I'm not even looking to buy up here. I'm only looking to sell, which is gonna be after that gets taken out. And yeah, let's go on JPY though. Let's see what's going on there, and we're gonna make sure it's not inverted. Trust. What do I see? Previous day, initiation of a pullback. I'm seeing one, two, three. We'll probably see a reversal happen soon, but we continue to track it, right? I already know where I'm placing my money, but I'm not here to talk about that. It's about structure. Um, so we can liquidate this pullback down into this range, or we can take out this valid low. essentially. Let's look on the 15. So we're seeing just an up move, a pullback into it's on the lower time frame though. A pullback into this range, and then if you can see this, it creates another range for us to move back into. So let's see what we're doing. 15-minute now in a scalping environment. Um, um, what am I even doing, bro? Okay, cool. I see the last up move there. I'm seeing da, and then we got that. And we start over again, and then we one, two, saw the liquidation again. Saw the initiation there, saw the liquidation of the first pullback, second pullback, that. So obviously this shit is just ranging. And because I know currently heading up, we had a failure to close there though. That's the matter. That's the matter. Why is my drawings wonky and I got it off? Oh, okay. Okay, we got a closure. So now that we got a closure, we understand that this is valid. This low is valid. And if I'm gonna buy something, it's here. Let me actually go again. Where's that 50-minute range again? Alright, okay, cool. So yeah, if I'm gonna buy it, just yo, wait until the structural low, that valid low is taken out. And then let the narrative tell you what it wants to do there. Likewise, if you want to sell, bro, just wait for higher prices. Just wait for this pullback to be liquidated because it creates a previous range for us to move back into. Your chances of success are way higher if you keep that consistency. It's all about being consistent in the right things, not in the habits that make you lose, bro. Like, just clip that, kill that, cook that, whatever you need to do, bro. Just, but I get it. You have to also be shown what those habits are, which is what I'm doing here. But it really takes for you to just listen. I can't lie. I don't care about Euro USD. I don't care about why is this even here, bro. But what are we doing here? Just track. Not much to say. Cannot lie. There's not much to say. US 30, I'll just observe in 15. I got all these drawings here though. Clear that. I'll just use the hourly for this. But the top and bottom of the range, it's a guideline, bro. It's just a guideline. for that. Falling out of.